Kilted balls. Oh no, I caught you off guard. That's my bad. My bad.
That's all right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kilted Balls podcast.
Yes, yes. Good to be here.
A lot of stuff's gone down. A lot of stuff's gone down in the world since last we talked. Hopefully, you all had a great week. Hopefully, it was wonderful.
Yes.
Hopefully, it was amazing. All the words that are cool.
All the words.
So, I'm sitting on my screen porch Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was a bit of a rough day. And I don't know what we were talking about. And that's a problem because as we're talking, I'm like, that's going on the podcast. We're going to talk about that on the podcast. And so just now we're sitting on the couch. We just went for a walk. And I'm like, what were we talking about on the screen porch that I said we're going to put that on the podcast? And she's like, I remember you saying that. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, what were we talking about? And so for like 5 minutes, we tried to remember. We didn't remember.
Oh, well, you have another 5 minutes here to remember.
Well,
before we get off track.
I forget, like, so much has happened. But, like, during this, like, when we're sitting there talking, she's like, oh, and you know what? Like, I'd prefer you, and she was super vague, but she was like, I'd prefer you not, like, overshare or something like that, or talk, like, you might not have a ton of listeners, but, still, like, you not talk about that anymore. And I'm like, yeah, no.
I hear that sometimes, too. I'm like,
I said, no. No, I've had people say that to me before where they're like, hey, can you not talk about this or that? I'm like, you don't control what like, I can't control what I'm talking about. You for sure.
So is it something about a person, though, or just
I don't know. And because we were trying to think of what we're talking about. And so I'll tell you, there are a lot of events. But the funny part about this is she was like, well, I'm asking you not to. And I'm like, yeah, well, I asked to interview you and I got told no, so now
Oh, man.
She's like, I said maybe. I'm like, well, she didn't say maybe. She goes, I'm not ready yet. And I'm like, yeah, that's like saying maybe. Those both mean no.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
exactly. Yep. You're the king of the maybe. You can't maybe me. I invented maybe.
I invented the maybe. That's mine. I did that. I know
that's
exactly
awesome.
What it means. Yeah, maybe I'll be there. So that's a no, right?
Yeah, I'll cross you right off the list.
If I was going to be there, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
So, in fact, somebody just wrote me. And they were like, hey, they wrote, are you coming tomorrow? Which I had a lot of bad things to say, but instead I just said maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll be there. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe not. It depends. I'm feeling.
There's been times when my maybe has been a true maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't know how the day's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, maybe. But I'm a firm believer that when people say maybe, like, it's got to be a greater than 75% amount of the time that it means a no.
Yeah. Because you're right. If it was something that they were committing to, like, they would say yes.
They'd say yes.
It maybe is like, we'll see if something better comes along.
That's exactly what it is. Maybe. I mean, like, I guess if, like, I ran into the house accidentally with my car, I might be there. But I'm not going out of my way.
Yeah. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. People are weird that way. Speaking about people being weird.
Yes.
Totally different side note. And I guess the only one of these people is weird. Well, no, they're both weird. Because I'm driving to a wrestling clinic that I was kind of co-hosting. Mm-hmm. And because of the construction, I had to take back roads the whole way.
Oh, boo.
So for you would understand. Other people won't. But I was on Hazlitt Road heading towards 52.
Okay.
And I passed the Jenkins family out running.
Did you? Nice. That's awesome.
I like text them. I'm like, I saw you running. They're like, oh yeah, we did like an easy 12 miler. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
A bunch of
that's
weirdos.
Hardcore. They are hardcore. It's awesome. It's super awesome.
It is super awesome. I was like, that is so cool. But yeah, I saw them, and it was nice, and it gave me a chance to like message and be like, I saw you, I miss you.
Mm-hmm. So it's been fun. We've been going outside more, like after school and stuff like that, and playing around. I bought the kids a kickball and a soccer, like an actual size soccer ball, because I bought one and it disappeared. I never got it out of the package. I might have left it in my cart. Who knows? It's one of those things I could have swore like I brought it in and everything, but it's just lost. And so they only had like this little baby one, so I bought one like for their size, and we've been playing. It's been super fun. And if anyone saw my post, yeah. It was worth it, though. But I was teaching the kids. There was a lot of lessons in there. For one, because I don't let them win, and Morgie was kind of cheating a little bit and whatever. He had more points. But then it was like, oh, I need to start playing or else I'm going to lose. So then I was going hard. And it was one of those, I was reaching for the ball, and my foot hit the top of the ball and just, like, went. So one of my favorite pairs of jeans, the knee got all ripped. My shoes, because my other toe ended up dragging, so the top of my shoes ripped a hole in them, and then my knee is like like I could feel it was bleeding because it was like rubbing all over. But we kept playing, and they saw it later. They're like, "Why didn't you stop?" Like, hey, like I was playing, like it was nothing was broken, and I had to finish the game.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So I wasn't gonna stop and cry.
Well,
so,
and did they score on you when you fell down?
No, I scored on that one, and after that, Morgie was like, "So I have to hit the garbage can."
Okay.
And they have a goalie. Mm-hmm. They have to kick it past me anywhere in the driveway.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Yeah. So they ended up beating me that game, so it's fine. Nice. It was fun.
Nice. But they learned a lesson that just because you like fall down, that's not like, oh, I should stop.
Oh yeah, because I ended up like after like everything happened, I was able to kick it with the extended foot like behind Oliver, and I popped up and I dribbled it over, and Morgie's like trying to be the goalie, and I just cracked it right at him. He's like, I'm no match for him. I mean, anyone who's not paying attention, if you're new, Morgan is 5 years old, so he was standing in front of the dumpster with no chance.
No shot, buddy. No shot.
That was funny. But we also made I made a Foursquare. So the two kids and Gina and I were teaching Morgan mostly because Oliver's played it in school how to play Foursquare. So
nice.
That was fun.
And then you're gonna have to make some hex ball. Have you played that yet?
I haven't played hex ball.
I have not. I don't think either. But it looks amazing. We should play it. We should make.
Can you play with 4 people?
I think so.
Or less? Okay. I'll have to look it up. Hexball. I'm going to write it down right now.
Hexball. Is it Hexball or Octoball? Like, you've probably seen it. It's like you're inside of a, like, hexagon or whatever. It's like 2 feet like tall.
Okay. No, I was thinking of, like, you were talking like those blow-up balls.
It's
where
like
you're, like
2 feet tall, and you're trying to hit, like, the square or something. I don't know. It's been a while.
I'll have to look it up.
But kids are always playing it. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, we're having fun. I mean, you get tore up on that blacktop, but
yeah, I bet.
We're having fun.
So we got a new pope.
Yep, got a new pope.
I'd rather
American
be the pope. Do. Yeah, first American ever. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
go ahead.
Nope. You said and.
And I think it's amazing watching people. And I thought this was true with the last pope, but when people are like, this one, like I was even laughing like with my mom, like I'm like, and she's like, kind of right, like on the right side of the spectrum, but I'm like I saw a post the other day that was like, screw this guy, he's not America first. And like if you know anything about stuff we've talked about before, the Catholic Church does not, like, they're the nation.
Yeah, they are the Vatican is actually their own nation.
And the Pope is the head of all of that. So, yeah, he probably wouldn't put America first.
That is awesome.
Right? Like,
that is awesome. Oops. Well, I wasn't sure if this would come up, but it's kind of along the same lines, so I'm going to talk about it now because we're talking. To me, this is about timelines we're in, and we've talked about obviously there's a new pope, and people have said that was going to be the last pope. Blah blah blah. That was a prediction that didn't work out, which makes sense. But interesting thing, like it's blowing my mind is almost what I really want to say.
Ooh. But
it's so wild to me that we are living in a timeline where someone who is what's a good word? Just people look up to him. Deepak Chopra. So a lot of people like Deepak. A lot of people look up to him. A lot of people listen to what he says, I would think. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just people I know. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But he's been around for a while, but anyways, he's the podcast I listened to today. He's talking about how as humans we make up the universe, we make up God. Like he's like, this is all, we're making all of this up, and it's just wild. Something like that coming from him. Something that I hear from other people and that I've believed for a long time, but it's coming from someone like that. So it's just wild. It's super cool to me because there's a lot of people listening and hearing that and realizing like, maybe I am in control of my life. Maybe I can change the situation I'm in. If I'm making all this anyways, why don't I change if I'm not happy with it? So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited about that.
I don't know why you're excited about it, but I'm excited that you're excited. We've talked about that before, and like we've talked about.
I know we've talked, but he has more listeners than we do.
Oh, I'm like, I don't understand why it's exciting. Like he resonates with a lot of things we've said. So
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
It's not surprising that he would say that.
It's not. But that it's cool. It's just cool. Like he's saying that, and he's got more of an audience, so maybe people are paying attention.
Yeah,
and we're becoming more enlightened as a society.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting concept. I think there's huge problems with the concept, unless you're Catholic, mm-hmm. and then I don't find any problems with the concept at all.
Yeah, yeah. So, mm-hmm. So talking about work too. So I'm on 4 cars right now.
Nice.
Mm-hmm, for the month.
Your goal was a car a day. And since you said a car a day, that means you're a car every other day, which is pretty damn good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty close.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's super awesome. Mm-hmm.
That's got to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't suck
just
at
helping
it.
people, and yeah, exactly.
You don't suck
like
at it.
just doing my thing. In there, like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like, if it works, cool. If not, and I say that to people, if you like it, cool. If not, we depart as friends, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they get it, because we make it work out.
It all works. It all works out.
So yeah, I actually had to go in today because my customer last night, he wanted to work with his own bank, so he's like, he was getting it for his son, so he needed another driver anyways. But he drove an hour and a half to come to the dealership to see the vehicle. So
wow!
And then drove back today. So it's super awesome.
That's crazy, but super awesome. And then you helped him out, and life is good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Nice. When you were talking about your Deepak stuff, there was something I wanted to say, and then you switched to work, and now I can't.
Oh man, I thought we were done with that because I thought you had a finisher there.
No, I was just laughing at you. Right? It's just funny.
Okay. Look at. So I got my first case of VFriends cards in. You can see right anyone who is watching. I haven't opened any of them up yet. I want to. I told the boys we'd open them up and they could pick their favorite one.
Oh, nice.
So
and you got
I've been watching some
on
of
the other side.
Oh yeah, I just moved the Danny Cole. Yeah, I just moved that one in here. It was in a different spot, but I moved it in here.
I like that it there. Keep switching pictures so we can see them.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first gift.
Oh, right? I remember what I was going to say.
Nice.
So there is a study. I wanted to talk about this anyway. So your Deepak weirdness kind of totally tied into something I want to talk about. And I haven't read the study. I'm hoping our buddy Jamie, who's a longtime listener, that he's listened to the study, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's been a lot of reports and a lot of things coming out lately that time is not linear like we think time is linear, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it looks like they have now found evidence that the future actually decides the past.
Yeah, that's what Bashar says all the time.
Right? Like, and we've talked about that. We've talked about, like, listen, you make it happen, because if you are putting those vibes out, you make it happen. And what they were saying is, and I don't know, like, I didn't read the article, but basically an event in the future, like, if that event is, like, you decide that event's happening or that event's going to happen, the past will align itself to make sure that event happens.
Yep.
Like, things will fall into place to make that. And we've kind of hidden that before, but it's nice to know that there's some studies coming out.
That's interesting. That's scientific study about it. That's super awesome.
So I've got to look up the article and find it. It was recent and I was super busy. I only made it like halfway through.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Bashar talks about that a lot when people are like, oh, I don't, but he just says we're always in the now. Yeah. And when something is happening, your past will adjust, like you said. Your past adjusts to make that happen where you're there.
Yeah.
But he says we're switching parallel Earths. So we go to that parallel Earth where that stuff worked out. So same idea. Our past has changed. Yeah.
However you want to think about it.
Exactly. But that's super awesome. That I'd love to read. Well, I don't know if I'd read the article. I'd love to hear people talk about the article. Well, let's be honest.
I taught you how to make a podcast out of any article. So now you know how.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I still have that pulled up over here. It's right there.
Notebook LM, people. Notebook LM. If you have an article and you're like, I don't have time to read this article, tell Notebook LM to make it into a podcast, and it'll make it into a podcast, and they'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you can listen to it. You can listen to any article that way. Yeah.
Yep.
My issue, you and I have talked about the Bashar thing before.
Yep.
Like that concept, because my issue is, and this is why it was not in jest, people, when I said like Catholics. Like, I think the only way you can honestly rectify a lot of people's belief systems is if we are part of a greater consciousness and we all rejoin with that consciousness. So when people say, one day I'm going to be united with God in heaven, you're saying you're going to be united with his consciousness, that you're going to rejoin his consciousness, right? Like,
I agree.
You're a part of the whole. Like, it's the only way it all makes sense. And you'll see that in none, maybe that's an overstatement. I do not know of a spot where when they are talking about that stuff, that when you go along into heaven, that you remain an individual.
I've never seen that happen.
Right.
Or I've never seen a belief where you're by yourself.
You see it in movies. Like you see in movies where, I'm meeting with St. Peter at the gates, or, I see these people in heaven. But whenever you like read the Bibles and stuff like that, that's like not part of the story. Right, like that's.
I mean, even the Mormons, even the Mormons get their own planet with their families, stuff. So,
right, they're all weird.
Wait, is it the Yeah, it's the Mormons.
But so this gets back to when he is saying that, and he is like, you define your reality. The problem with that statement is if you are interpreting that statement as an individual, I determine my reality, like I'm making all of this, that is fundamentally completely wrong, because you would have to be part of something else. And so if my belief system has you as part of all of this stuff, and I'm making all of this stuff happen, then none of us are making our own stuff, because we're all part of the other. It has clear paradoxes, is the point. So
when he says he does talk, because some people are like, oh, well, I've done this or that. And he's like, you have agreements before this aspect of you, because you're still connected to this part of you, have agreements of things that you've got to do. in this lifetime. Like you have those agreements.
But
yeah, you're saying the same exact yes.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like you are not an individual. The only way that works, is if you are part of a communal thing. So if you are believing that you are going to heaven and you are going to rejoin the great heavenly host, that consciousness, it's the consciousness that's deciding it. You are a facet of the consciousness. You are not your own separate consciousness.
Yeah.
You are,
but you can still make decisions and change things. Like if you don't, what does it go back to? If you don't like the way things look, change the way you look at things. Like you could like when I was younger, I could have used a lot of excuses to not take the path that I've taken.
Yes.
I could have chosen to smoke. I could have chosen to drink a lot of alcohol. I could have chosen to curl up in a ball and just be done. There were a lot of excuses, and people that we know made different choices who are in similar situations. Actually, it's funny because I was just talking with our friend Heather.
Oh yeah,
and
I was texting her. That's funny.
Yeah, she's like, we did well. Like we did well for like our group that we hang out. I was like, yeah. I said, I think all of us had to rebel except for Byers. Like he was able to not as much from his family and situation, but that's why we hung out like there.
Yeah.
So it's just
that
funny.
Was never like I think because I was like one of the youngest, I never had to rebel because I didn't have like an authoritative figure over me. Like, listen,
they're just like, whatever.
We've raised 7 of them. If this one goes, they go. Like, whatever. We got 7 others. So,
yeah.
Why worry? Why worry?
Nothing to worry about. But no, it's awesome. But yeah, we still have decisions to make as people, we have decisions over our lives. But yeah, I for sure agree that we're all connected.
Oh God, yeah.
To that greater power.
Yeah. And so it's really what that greater power is deciding. And yeah, you might have an agreement with your left hand and your right hand, but it's still the greater power that's controlling both, right?
Yeah.
And so you may decide that you're not going to go through my other hand, but it's still me deciding for sure that I'm not going to let you go through your other hand. It's just a thing. But it's fun that he did that, and it's... Like you said, it's good that he's really preaching to a wider audience, right?
So, yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been, well, I've talked, just, a few months ago, just about what he's doing with even AI and his book, Digital Dharma, like talking about that. Like, hey, this is, and I think some of that is coming from it. Like, hey, this is, if we're seeing this happening, but he's not worried about like AI taking over. He's like, there's no consciousness there. But at the same time, you can still treat AI well. Like we were talking about that. I saw a short on that where someone is like, yeah, treat your AI like someone who you respect and someone who you want to talk with and have, because you can make your AI do a bunch of different things and communicate with you in all sorts of ways. And he's using it, people are using AI as therapy, which is amazing.
Why does he think it won't have a consciousness?
Biologically, it won't have a consciousness. He's coming at it from the biological standpoint.
Right, but I still don't understand.
Okay, I can't explain it exactly.
Okay.
But
that's my bad.
Those were the reasonings that he was using because it's zeros and ones and it's being programmed. Like there's not cells, there's not a brain. It's not biologically possible for it to become something. So,
yeah, I think that's weird.
And that could be his small definition that he's using for this.
Right.
Like he might be, where it could be like.
It's just like not understanding like biology. I mean, like biology, for lack of a better term for people, it operates on zeros and ones as well. So he's thinking the computer is acting differently. Like, ooh, we have consciousness. They're using zeros and ones. So do we. Like, this is all electrical wiring that are on and off switches. Like you're more a machine than you understand that you're a machine.
Well, especially when we carry around these cell phones. We're definitely hybrids.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
Or androids, whatever you want to call it.
But it's like a common thing when I'm talking to people. I'm like, I don't think you understand that you're on, like, honestly, you are a machine. Like, there's nothing that separates you from being a machine unless you have the concept, which I always think is kind of elitist, that I have a soul and the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's your only thing, because otherwise you have wiring, you have fuel, you have literally all of the things a machine has.
Yeah.
And that's just how you're wired. And you're a self-replicating machine, which we have those too. So it's like a weird thing, and I always think when people say that, I'm like, you just don't understand.
I'll have to look it up and be able to.
Yeah.
I'll cut it and paste it because there's you can ask Deepak in his AI and it will explain to you anything he's ever said.
Nice.
It's all programmed in there.
That's awesome. Well, and then people do the same thing. We had a big talk about this with people, like, what determines consciousness, period. Like, is your dog a sentient being? It has consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Is it sentient? Like how do you determine that? And I don't think people like thinking about it, because then that turns them vegan.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that freaks people out when you start thinking about, do these animals have feelings, and should those feelings count?
Yeah. But, well, why do they discount the vegetables' feelings or the plants' feelings so easily? Because they're so alien to what we are?
Yeah, for sure.
Because clearly they're alive.
Clearly they're alive. Clearly, right?
I mean, there's the people who only eat the dead fruit off the ground.
Right, but those are alive too.
Well, once it dies, but I guess there's other things in there that's alive.
Yeah, when it falls off the tree, it's still alive. Like it's
because it's trying to reproduce at that point.
Yeah.
To
And
get its seed in the ground.
Those cells are still going, and then the bacterial cells are going. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, so how do you define consciousness? Because I would imagine they're saying a plant doesn't have consciousness.
Some people do.
No. I'm saying the people who are saying
those people.
the
Yes.
don't. They would also say a plant doesn't. Where I think there are people who argue that plants do. Right? So yeah, it's an interesting kind of concept, and sounds like a very philosophical debate that neither of us are probably prepared to have.
We'll have to get Deepak on our show.
We probably don't have that knowledge, right?
Then he can explain to us. Like, listen, Kilted's trying to explain this, and he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. He heard it once.
And you're trying to argue against it, and you don't know shit either, Paul. You're very true. You're very true. I'm just going to sit here and drink. You just talk.
That's right. So I did, for Mother's Day, I got Gina it's like a little baby cube ice maker. So she's super excited.
Ooh, like ours?
Does yours do cubes?
Ours does like...
I can't remember what yours
ours
do.
Ours does like circles.
Okay, no, it's not a bullet one. It's more like Chick-fil-A ice, like the little cubes.
Yeah.
Like you can get at Chick-fil-A.
And it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. So
one of the things we did with ours, I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but it came up recently, and it was amazing. I don't know if we'll do it again. But instead of filling it with water, we filled it with lemonade.
I remember you saying that.
It was amazing.
Ours said don't put anything else in there except water.
Yeah, ours did too.
Oh, you guys aren't rule followers like I am.
Yeah, what next? You're going to tell me not to put my penis in there?
Yeah, come on.
Come on. No, and it was amazing, and we love it. It's like one of our favorite treats.
I remember you saying it was super awesome.
But if you leave it in there, it'll mold. Then you got to spend a lot of time cleaning it out.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's why they tell you not to. Just like, remember the old soda club? It's like, don't put anything in this. And it's like, why? Like, it can handle it. The problem is that you've got to clean it. And people don't want to clean that stuff. So they're like, don't
if
do
you're
that.
using water, you don't have to worry about it.
They're like, just use water, and then you don't have to clean it.
I still use mine. I haven't used it much as I was. I went through a stage where every day I was getting fizzy water.
Nice.
But I've been drinking a bunch of tea lately.
And have you still been getting some miles in the morning? Waking up at 5
this week, no. I don't know. Oh, because Sunday is when I hurt myself. So Monday. So the mistake I made is that I was wearing flat shoes, almost like they're my flat running shoes, my orange ones, on the concrete. So we were running around out there for like 4 or 5 hours. So Sunday when I woke up, my bottoms of my feet hurt so bad. So I just stretched out like crazy and just did a little workout. So I haven't put in miles this week.
That's so funny.
And Tuesdays I usually don't get up early because it's my day off.
Yeah.
And I work out after I drop the boys off. But today I had to run up and close that deal.
Yeah. Well,
and deliver the car. So yeah, for sure. Well worth going in on my day off.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, it's been awesome. It's really weird. Like I've not been contemplating, but recently I'm having so many dreams that I'm at a dealership, and I was like, it's really, to me it's strange because I haven't been doing it long enough to where it's like I'm spending that much time there. Yeah. But I'm just like, I wonder like if I wouldn't have taken the path that I took, like that probably would have been my path, and I would have been. I would have learned a lot and been successful doing that earlier in life.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, this is just kind of naturally, like, going into that and, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, nothing I was missing out on because doing the shows and everything was amazing, and I absolutely loved it, and I miss it a ton. Mm-hmm. But being at a different stage in life, having a family, like I don't want to be gone all the time and things like that. So yeah. So this I like having a schedule where I have to be someplace. When I'm there, I can do everything. I was telling one of the young guys this. He's like, "Oh, I know there's things I can do," and I'm just like listen, when I'm here, like I'm focused. I mean, yes, I was like kind of. He was asking me some investing questions and stuff like that, and of course, that's always a way to get me jibber jabbering. But it was only a few minutes. But it's not like, I see some of the guys, they're like playing on their phones all day and this and that and waiting for a lead to come in or waiting to get a lead from the phone.
Yeah.
But it's just like I'm not willing to do that. So, I've talked to the managers and they're doing different things that I can do, and I'm doing other things as well to create leads for myself because I'm there to work. And when I'm there, either I'm learning or I'm working, or I've been doing a lot of videos and stuff, so it's helping with product knowledge as well, and just sharing some of my life lessons.
Guys who are going like half speed, if you will, are they making like 10, 15 sales a month?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, yeah. So the one guy I was talking to, I mean, he's been there. He's been there a long time, 6-7 years. So he's getting a lot of repeats now and things like that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to drum up new customers, and he can make, close to 6 figures.
Yeah. Doing his however many sales. But that it makes me think if they're doing nothing and getting that many sales, you shouldn't have trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or you
That's what I'm thinking. That's possible.
And one of the reasons you went to Harley and not a car dealership was because you were worried about car dealer hours. So far, it hasn't been an issue for you?
So I was in 2 different spots then. So when I was going to Harley, it was more because I was like, okay, we're coming up historically on a year in crypto that should be the end of the bull run, which is exponential. And I had months at the on the website where I was pulling money out of my savings. So I'm like, if we're supposed to be going up this year, and I if I have a bad month, I'm pulling my crypto out low. Like I didn't want to do that. So that's why I got that job. I was like, okay, I'll do that at least a year. I'll figure out what's going on. I'll see what's happening with the crypto market, and then I can decide.
Right.
Whereas this, I did that. I liked a lot of aspects of it, but I didn't love being there. So I was like, nope. And there was other things that I wanted to work on, and I did some of those other things. But then I was still pulling money out of my account, like if I had a bad month. So then it was like, okay, I need to do something because I need to get rid of the rest of my sheets. I don't know what I'm going to do with the warehouse here. I don't know how long I'm going to stay here. Mm-hmm. So I need to do something at least until Morgan graduates from high school. Like that's my mentality going into the car dealership.
Right. But my question was more specific. Like, you did the Harley thing because you said you didn't want car dealer hours. You could have chosen a car dealer then. So how is it working now? Because you're doing the car dealer hours.
It's not as exciting as the Harley hours.
Yeah, but it's not. It's okay. Right?
Yeah, I still have 2 days off a week, but most days, like, I'll take the boys to school and they're in bed when I get home.
Right.
So I'm not seeing them at all in the evenings or like and super
that's what
fast,
you
like
said
right when I walk in.
When you said I don't want car dealer hours, that's what you knew you were going to get. But so far, you're finding it worth it.
So far, yep.
Yeah.
And I think it will be.
Yeah.
Because so far the time that I'm spending with them, I'm really going out of my way. And I even told Gina, like, hey, like, if you notice, I mean, we have things like I have this on Tuesdays, I have a Wednesdays, and I have a Thursday planned already, but it's times where people are sleeping. But like I told her, like, if you like, I want to focus on you guys when I'm here because I'm gone so much. Right. Like, I'm not going to be playing on my phone. If it's a customer or something important, I'm going to take care of it. But when I'm here, we're doing whatever we can do when I'm hanging out with them or I'm hanging out with her. Like, that time is much more valuable than it was in the past.
For sure.
So yes, the hours aren't as exciting, but it's not honestly that big of a deal.
No, it seems so far it seems like you're handling it fine, right? I told you early on, I was worried because I'm like, that's a big change in your life, going from no hours to car dealer hours. So far, like, you haven't bitched too much about it, so
not at all.
So it must be all right. Because I'd probably be bitching about it.
Nope. I have two slight things that I don't love, but it's not in the overall scheme of things.
It's the chafing and
no, it's the owners. The owners play very religious music, and there's maybe like 10 songs that gets played all day, and they're all very, very Jesus-y. And I'm to the stage now where I'm not humming them out loud, but I'm singing them in my head, and it's super irritating. And I have to wear long sleeves, so as it's getting hotter, it's just a thing.
Is that just part of the thing, or is it because of the tattoos?
Yeah, my tattoos would show. I can wear sleeves if I like. Some of the guys wear sleeves, but honestly, so like this. So the rule is if it's on your forearm, it has to be covered. So this is borderline. So I wouldn't have to wear a tattoo, or I wouldn't have to wear a sleeve on this arm, which seems weird. Like, the rule is outside, but this arm I would. And one of the guys does. He wears a sleeve on one arm and the other arm is out. I just don't think it looks that, in my book, it doesn't look that professional, and that's something that I would want to do. Yeah. I would rather just wear. I have a long sleeve polo shirts that I wear. I have 6 of them that are all the exact same color.
Nice.
I just wear the same shirt every day.
And you like the polo rather than a button down like this?
That's not an option for a button down because it's got to have the logo on it. It's got to have the logo, and I have to wear a name tag.
Oh, and you can't get a button down with the logo?
I could buy shirts like that, and someone would stitch it. I may go to that, but as starting out, like, I just bought them from them and just like, okay, I'll do this. Yeah. And I do have one shirt. One of my bosses brought me a short sleeve polo, and I just wear a long sleeve underneath it when I wear that one.
For sure. Yeah, but
I've thought about getting those, like a lightweight, like a breathable long sleeve button up, because I like how it looks.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing a belt.
I don't think wearing long sleeves is bad, obviously. Like, I wear long sleeves all the time. But in a North Carolina summer, that might suck. But you'll be used to it, I would assume. The part that's interesting to me, and again, another study, right? But it used to be people would not trust doctors who had tattoos, and now it's flipped, and they almost don't trust doctors without tattoos. Like,
yes, I've heard that before.
Yeah, so culture has shifted. It's interesting that your dealership culture has not shifted.
One of the guys there, and I don't know how long he's been there for, I think 6-7 years, he said when he first started there was no facial hair allowed.
Yeah.
Which seems weird because their guy had facial hair, right, in all the pictures. So, right? JC have beard in all his pictures.
Like, they didn't shave. Like, again, you wonder about, like, why was that a thing, you know?
Yeah.
Why did you not do that?
So, I mean, he had said that, and I guess even just a year ago, everyone had to wear dress shoes. So now you can wear nice tennis shoes. So things do change a little bit. So it might not be too long where I'll just be able to wear a normal polo shirt.
Well, and I think it's fine. And because, like, if I were your boss, I wouldn't know what your tattoos meant. And it might offend somebody. So better to just cover them and not deal. Right? So I think I don't think as a boss that's a bad idea. Right?
No, I make sure, like, I've had a couple customers with tattoos or just people waiting in the waiting room. Like, I make sure to point them out and to, you know, not to be relatable, because I think, you know, if it's cool ink, I'm going to say your ink is really cool, you know, so, you know, I think that's a little bit more relatable too. Yeah, and it's funny because Observant Oyster pops out quite a bit. Like, my sleeve will go up a little bit, just peeking. So it's funny to me that Observant Oyster's on the end.
I think that was smart. I'm glad you planned it that way. Good planning, good thinking, Kilt. Good thinking. All right, well, we have easily used up our time, people. So I hope you found some of this interesting. Definitely, we need some philosophy lessons. Maybe Kilted and I need to go back to school. But
heck yeah,
that was good stuff. So hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you join us again. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilted Dragon Jerry, love you all.